Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Spuds and Scones. This is Jessica here, and today we're making one of my favorite pastries ever, and that is jumbo blueberry streusel muffins. Let's get started on our dry ingredients here. So we've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour. We've got a couple little leavening agents here. So we've got a half teaspoon of sea salt, a quarter teaspoon of baking soda, and then a tablespoon of baking powder. Just gonna add that right to there. Give it a little whisk here. And as always, the link to the full recipe will be below in the description. All right. Next, we're just going to reserve a tablespoon of the flour mixture here. What we're going to do that for is when we add our blueberries, whenever you get like a scone or a muffin or something that has fresh fruit in it, don't you hate when it like sinks to the bottom? Well, that's what this solves. So if you just coat that in flour, it'll keep them suspended in the batter, and you will have a delicious blueberry or many blueberries in every bite. So, little baker tip there. Okay, we got our tablespoon of flour set aside, and let's get going on our wet ingredients. We've got 5 1/3 tablespoon or a third cup of unsalted butter that we've melted and cooled here. One key to awesome muffins is you want everything to be at room temperature. That way everything will mix together well, it'll bake together well, it'll all bake together at the same temperature. That equals fluffy muffins and an awesome batter. So, got our melted butter here. To that, we're going to add a third cup of vegetable oil. Any neutral oil will do, but I'd say vegetable oil I'd prefer. And what the vegetable oil does is that adds moistness. I've always found that a combination of butter and oil together, you've got the flavor from the butter as well as the fat, and then you've got just the plain fat from the neutral oil. That combo to me makes awesome buttery muffins. Got 2 large eggs here, also at room temperature. In those go. All right, last one is a cup of granulated white sugar. Use white sugar here. I think it melds together more, and it'll let the blueberries and the lemon zest that we're going to add to our streusel later shine. Right, just like that, we're going to whisk those together. Might take a second here, but make sure just the sugar gets in with all of the liquid. And what you want to see here, just a nice pale yellow consistency here. That looks awesome. Got a third cup of sour cream. Again, always at room temperature. I use full fat sour cream, and again, everything will be linked in the recipe in the description below. All right, got a cup of whole milk that's at room temperature. Perfect. Whole milk I've always found is just enough fat to make it nice and fluffy. You don't want half and half, I think that'd be too rich. Having something like skim or 1%, I don't think that would just be enough flavor. So whole milk it is. And we've got 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract here. Perfect. Vanilla extract always adds that great home baked flavor, so I always use pure vanilla extract here. Right, we're gonna mix those last wet ingredients here. And the reason why I was saying the room temperature is really perfect for everything is now you'll find here that it'll pay off. So when you're mixing this, you won't see any clumps. Everything will be nice and smooth. Perfect. You want that kind of pale yellow color. That's how you know everything's nice and mixed. All right, dry ingredients are done. Wet ingredients are done. We are one step closer to enjoying some delicious jumbo blueberry muffins. All right, let's go. Made a well in the dry ingredients here. Do this with scones, really any pastry where you're kind of those quick pastries where you're folding the ingredients in. I think that's the best way to incorporate everything. So we've got our wet ingredients here. I'm going to pour that into the well here. All right. The best key ingredient to making really awesome muffins is in how you're going to stir it. So if you overmix the batter, it's going to produce a really tough, almost like just not something you'd want to have. So the less stirring, the better. What we're just going to do is I would have a rubber spatula or a silicone, and then we're just going to incorporate it till it just comes together. It'll look just like that. I've only stirred it a few times, but that's when you want to add your blueberries here. So we've got our fresh blueberries here that are nice and washed. What we're going to do is take our tablespoon of flour from before. We're just going to toss that together. And again, like I mentioned before, what it'll do is allow the blueberries to suspend in the muffins. So we've got a nice, delicious blueberry in each bite, yes. It won't sink to the bottom, and that flour in it will just make it awesome. Blueberries in, and that was a cup of blueberries here. And then we're just going to finish our folding. And again, under mixing is exactly what you want to do almost. I would say if you want to put a number on it, I would say like 15 or 20 strokes. I'll put that in the recipe too. Now this almost looks like it's not totally mixed. Maybe do 3, 4 more, just eyeball it. Okay, that looks great. And when you start scooping in, as you'll see when you start scooping in these jumbo muffin tins, if you see some flour, a great tip is just to take a toothpick and kind of finish off the flour to mix in. That'll make sure you're not over mixing again. I can't overstress the over mixing. So putting a toothpick in that will be awesome, and it'll just allow the flour to get in without over mixing. Okay. I think I've explained that enough, but I will also put that in the description. Muffin batter is all ready to go. I have sprayed 8 jumbo muffin tins just with some cooking spray. I didn't have cupcake liners with me, but if you had jumbo cupcake liners too, that would be perfect. As we're scooping our batter in, like I was saying before, you're going to see some flour clumps in here. That's totally fine. It's better to just correct it at the end here so we're not over mixing than over mix to begin with, and then you can't go back from that. So we're going to fill this about 3/4 full, and we're just going to leave some room for our streusel that we're going to do. I just love jumbo muffins because I feel like the ones that you make from the cake mix they're great and all, but I just don't think they're big enough. I mean, if you're going to have a pastry, you better have a pastry. So that's my motto. Oh, I almost made 9. Whoop, back it up. Batter is all ready to go. Now we're going to make some awesome lemon streusel on the top. You can do, if you don't want to do streusel, you can just do some coarse like turbinado sugar. But I think this lemon streusel that we came up with is going to set them apart. Make these jumbo ones extra special. So we've got 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter here that we've melted and cooled slightly. We've got 1/3 cup of light brown sugar, and then I did a generous pinch of kosher salt in there. Remember, we always want to have sweet stuff have a little bit of salt in it. It brings out the sweetness. And then we've got 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And what we're going to do is just put that in here. Put our flour in. And the key to a great streusel that I've found so far anyway is when we have this butter melted, I'm just going to take a fork, and just until it starts to kind of clump together, that's the perfect streusel to me. When you've got kind of like sand version, that's when your proportions are off. And you want nice little clumps. Kind of like when you have granola or a puppy chow, I always go for like the big clumps. That's the type of streusel I like. This is looking great. Last thing is just zest of 1 small lemon here. One little tip here is I like to roll the lemon on our cutting board. That releases the juices, and that'll make our zest extra zesty. Okay, got a microplane here. Another kitchen essential I highly recommend here. I can link that in the comments below. Clear that off here. Gonna get that combined. And we are so close to baking muffins. And as a 26-week pregnant lady, I am ready to eat some pastry. What's new, Jessica? All right, streusel is all mixed up here. Looking great. Got our little clumps here. We're just going to add them to the muffins. I just do it by hand. I'd say tablespoonish for each one. You can always add to it. Just like that, our muffin batter has come together. It is ready for the oven. Right, we've got it preheated to 425 degrees. And one more great tip on making the best jumbo muffins is we're going to do it for 5 minutes. And then we're going to turn down the heat to 350 for about, depending on your oven, 22 to 25 minutes. And that'll ensure that all the inside is baked. So we've got the initial high heat for getting that kind of like puffiness on there. So kind of like those bakery style muffins we always love. And the rest of the cooking time for cooking it. All right. Okay, let's hear that beep. It's almost muffin time. All right. All right, these are looking great. Just to tell that they're done, I'm going to put a toothpick in the middle. Try not to puncture a blueberry. It might give you a wrong result. Perfect. This looks nice and clean. So we're going to let these cool for about 10 minutes. If you can, I kind of want to just take it out right now, but 10 minutes, I promise. It'll cool, and then we'll get them removed and we will get to eating. Okay, I have resisted the temptation and I have lasted 10 minutes. So they're nice and cool. Now to remove these, if you had those cupcake liners I was saying before, the jumbo muffin liners, they should come out no problem. But if you just use spray like me, little trick, just take a butter knife around the edge. Now that they're a little bit cool, they should come out pretty easy. There we go. Perfect. Golden brown bottom, all sticking together. These are all cool. I've got them on a plate here, and let's cut it in half and see the magic reveal. All right. Oh, mwah. All right. Now, the flowered blueberries you were talking about before, that's exactly why we do it. Because they're not sinking to the bottom. They're right in the middle where they should be. So every bite will have some blueberry. All right. Speaking of every bite. Mm, all right. Let me tell you a little bit about this muffin. Still warm. Got the blueberries all running through the middle. Got a little bit of hint of lemon from the streusel, and I love the crunch on top that it gives. This is awesome on its own. If you wanted to put some butter on it, go for it. It's great with a cup of coffee or tea, and there's not much more to say about it. So, if you enjoyed this recipe, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. We will read every comment that you put. If you wanted to see any other muffin recipes, any other breakfast recipes, any recipes, if you just want to say hey, I will say hey back. We read every comment, and we just are so excited to start this channel, and I hope that you are having a great time. So if you like this recipe, we will have some other recipes up here, there. And until next time, thank you so much for joining, and we will see you on the next episode for Spuds and Scones. Jessica here. Bye.